What's up, everyone? It's your boy Noah Radd89 here, bringing you another video. And for today's video, we are going to be on to Friday the 13th, the final chapter. This is part 4 in the franchise, the 4th installment, held up pretty high as one of the most popular ones. This is the Friday film, like in terms of 80s slashers, that really nailed the formula and is just in the upper echelon up there in terms of 80s slashers that came out in that era and sequels. This is one of the best for sure. Great cast. Ted White as Jason Voorhees, one of the most terrifying, and Joseph Zito in the director chair was perfect. So let's get into this. We're going to talk retrospective Radd review of Friday the 13th, the final chapter. Of course, we're going to be getting the spoilers, so if you haven't seen this film, you have to go run out and watch it and then come back so we can talk about it. So Friday the 13th, the final chapter. This one, right off the bat, positives, has a really good pace formula, and I like the fact that it's just a really good watch. It's got a great cast that makes the pace and makes the movie go by quick, and just the fact that we introduce our first final boy in this franchise. This is our first introduction to the Tommy Jarvis character, his family. Then we also have other kids, like other teenagers, like staying at the kind of lake house not too far from them too. So that's what's cool too, is we have these great cast members in two different kind of households bouncing off of each other. We also have another guy in this film too who's kind of hunting Jason Voorhees. At this point in the story, in the franchise, Jason, the killings, they're kind of getting around, spreading around that people are going missing at this camp, and now people are kind of looking into it. So we have this guy who's in this one who is pretending to be like a camper or a hunter, but he's actually looking for Jason Voorhees. Another great positive I love about this movie is Ted White. He is one of the most terrifying and best actors to play Jason Voorhees, and his portrayal in this movie is fantastic. Like I said, this is probably one of the most iconic and most terrifying versions of Jason, and that's why, pretty much why this film is held up so high, is because we have such a great cast, a great young cast. We have a good director, and the Jason performance just elevates it to a new level. So when people have this at the number one spot, you can't really argue it that much, because this is easy one of the greatest 80s slashers and horror sequels out there. Music is top notch as well, having Harry Manfredini back. So he's back playing with the usual, suspects and tunes and stuff like that, but it adds to the element. And Friday the 13th part, the part 4 final chapter, is just a great one to just sit down and watch. This is a good popcorn flick, and this is one of the best ones to watch at night. It's got a lot of good nighttime sequences, and the chase scenes with Tommy Jarvis and his sister Trish when they're getting away from Jason. Oh man, some of those chase sequences are just epic. And especially if you're watching this at midnight, in the middle of the night, it's the perfect time. Popcorn with a bunch of friends, few drinks, you're going to be having a blast with this film. And that's another great thing too, is we have Trish in here as well, Tommy's older sister. So we have a final boy and a final girl in this film. So this one kind of has the same template, but a little bit different, little tweaks to the formula of Jason that make it stand out and make it a little unique. This is also the last time that we have human Jason, and at this point in Friday part 4, Jason's still considered a human. He's just really freaking hard to kill. And until we get to that third act sequence, which is one of the best, when we take it from Jenny pretending to be the mom to Tommy Jarvis pretending to be a young Jason Voorhees with his hypercephalic head, and just goes ape shit on Jason, and he's taking the machete, die. It's wild. That third act is, like I said, top notch. That's why it's hard to argue this one being not number one or at the top spot. It's hard to even say negatives about this film, because there really aren't that many negatives. The only problem with this one is, for me, there's just so many other Friday films. When it comes to the top 5 in the Friday the 13th franchise, for me, when I do my ranking, they're so great. It's so hard to nail them down, because I'll look at my list next week and I won't like it, and I'll be oh well, I don't like that. But like I said, this is just, there's other great Friday films in the franchise, and that's why this one kind of falls a little bit lower on the list and isn't in the top dog spot. So as I said, not really any real negatives with this film. It's just all across the board great. Even our dance sequence with Crispin Glover is one of the best. The tussles with him and those like girls that he's trying to hit on, and then he has the friend who is like Mike that has the computer, like who's like plug that into your computer, Mike. Like just the little back and forth and the dialogue, the script, everything in this one is really top notch for sure. The kills is another badass part of this film too. Like I said, this is really a good time in the Friday franchise because the first 6 films they really got to play with like all kinds of nudity, deaths, kills, everything, and they weren't really getting hacked to death or censored. It wasn't until later when people started really attacking and politicians and like angry mothers and stuff like that, and parents who didn't want their kids watching like these horrific horror films and thought this is what created monsters and all this shit. So this is still in that golden era of Friday before they started really hacking and neutering them down to like nothing. But in my book, Friday the 13th, the final chapter, it's gonna get a 9 out of 10. This is a 9 out of 10 film. Like I said, the only reason it doesn't get the 10 is because only one, if you're ranking them all, and you can only really give one the 10. My top dog gets the 10, and like I said, this isn't my favorite one. It floats around that number 4, number 3 spot in terms of ranking in the franchise. It floats around in that area, 4, 3, 4, 3. It kind of bounces back and forth with my 3rd spot one. So, like I said, this is still a badass banger film, and highly recommend checking out this film if you haven't seen it yet. And what are you guys doing for Friday the 13th? I would love to hear from all of you. Let me know in the comments section. It's right around the corner this week. I know I'm going to be watching a couple Friday films. I'm going to be wearing my Friday gear, rocking my Friday mug with coffee, and probably pop on some Friday the 13th. I might just have them all running all day. Just keep them all running like all day and just start with one and then just have it running on the TV even when I'm doing stuff or taking the kids to school and everything like that. So thanks for sticking around with me all for another video, this retrospective Radd review. And like I said, of course, let me know in the comment section, what are you guys doing for Friday the 13th? And what do you think of Friday the 13th, the final chapter? Is this one of the most badass Friday entries? Do you think so, or do you not like this one? Let me know. I would love to hear from all of you. And don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss a thing on the channel, because I'm going to be doing a lot of other videos. Peace out.